Chapter 1. The Silent Influence. The city of Nexera thrummed with an unrelenting pulse, its skyscrapers aglow with neon data streams that orchestrated every decision its citizens made. Elias Kane, 32, sat at his desk in the DataSync Corporation, eyes scanning lines of code that predicted consumer behavior. His job was to hone the algorithms, to make them sharper, more precise. But today his mind drifted. A quiet unease gnawed at him, a whisper from some unseen part of himself he couldn't name. Last night, he made a choice, one that felt wrong the moment he voiced it. His team had pitched a new algorithm to nudge consumers into impulsive purchases, preying on their subconscious fear of missing out. Elias had nodded, approved it, even as his gut churned. Why had he agreed? He was good at his job, meticulous, logical. Yet something deeper, something silent, had steered him. He leaned back, rubbing his temples. The office was a sterile cage of glass and steel, every surface reflecting the glow of screens. His smartwatch buzzed, prompting him to drink water, stand, breathe. Even his body was governed by algorithms. He ignored it and opened a blank document, typing. Why do I keep making choices that feel wrong? The question lingered, unanswered. Elias didn't know it yet, but that question would unravel his life. That evening, he walked home through Nexera's crowded streets, the air thick with the hum of drones delivering packages. Billboards flashed personalized ads, pulling data from his recent searches. Elias, upgrade your life with a NeuroSync implant, one blared. He looked away. The city knew him too well, his habits, his purchases, his hesitations. But did he know himself? At home, Elias poured a glass of synthetic wine and sat by the window, staring at the city's ceaseless glow. His apartment was minimalist, functional, a mirror of the man he thought he was, disciplined, rational. Yet his choices told another story. He'd stayed at DataSync despite despising its ethics. He'd ended a relationship last year because he couldn't commit, though he'd loved her. He'd ignored his instincts, time and again, letting an invisible force guide him. He opened his tablet and searched, why do I make bad decisions? The results were predictable, self-help articles, pop psychology, ad for mindfulness apps. But one link, buried deep, caught his eye, the subconscious key. Unlock your mind with Stoic principles. No flashy graphics, no sponsor tag, just plain text with an address in Nexera's old district. Elias hesitated. The old district was a relic, a place of crumbling brick and forgotten ideals, untouched by the city's algorithms. Going there meant stepping off the grid, risking his data trail being flagged. But the unease in his chest pushed him. He grabbed his coat. The old district reeked of damp stone and history. Elias followed the address to an unmarked door beneath a flickering sign, the Stoic Circle. He knocked, half expecting silence. The door creaked open, revealing a woman in her 50s, her eyes sharp and calm. You're late, she said, though Elias hadn't announced his arrival. I'm Mara. Come in. Inside, a small group sat in a circle on worn cushions. The room was lit by candles, a stark contrast to Nexera's electric glare. No screens, no drones. Just people listening to a man in a gray robe speak about something called stoicism. Elias, sit, Mara said, pointing to a cushion. He obeyed, feeling exposed without his devices. The man in the robe, introduced as Theron, continued. Your subconscious mind, Theron said, is a silent force. It shapes your choices before you're aware of them. It's why you act against your own interests, why you repeat mistakes. But you can master it. Elias shifted, skeptical but intrigued. Theron's voice was steady, commanding attention without effort. Stoicism teaches us to align our subconscious with reason and virtue, to see clearly, act wisely, and live fully. The group nodded, some scribbling in leather-bound journals. Elias fell out of place, yet the words struck a chord. He thought of his decision at work, the algorithm he'd approved. Had his subconscious betrayed him? After the session, Mara approached. You're here because you're lost, she said, not unkindly. Stay. Learn. The subconscious key isn't a program or a device. It's a practice. Elias wanted to argue, to retreat to the safety of his algorithms. But he nodded. What do I do? Start here, Mara said, handing him a small notebook. Write what you feel, what you fear every day. No filters. Then read it. You'll see the patterns your subconscious hides. Chapter 2. The Stoic Approach. For a week, Elias wrote. At first, it felt futile, scribbling thoughts like a child. But as the pages filled, he saw something. His entries were laced with fear of failure, of irrelevance, of defying the city's expectations. He never admitted these things, not even to himself. He returned to the Stoic circle, notebook in hand. Theron led a meditation, guiding the group to focus on their breath, to observe thoughts without judgment. Elias struggled, his mind racing with deadlines and data. But slowly, he sank into a quiet space where the city's noise faded. Your subconscious is like a river, Theron said after. It flows beneath the surface, carrying debris, biases, fears, habits. Stoicism teaches you to dam the river, to redirect its flow. Theron introduced a practice called negative visualization. Imagine the worst outcomes, he said, not to dwell on them, but to prepare. When you face a choice, picture failure, loss, pain. Then ask, can I endure this? If so, fear loses its grip. Elias tried it that night, sitting in his apartment. He imagined quitting DataSync, losing his income, his status. The thought stung, but he forced himself to sit with it. Could he endure? Yes, he realized. He could rebuild, start anew. The fear wasn't as paralyzing as he'd thought. At work, he began to notice his subconscious biases. When his team proposed another algorithm, this one targeting vulnerable consumers, Elias paused. His instinct was to agree, to avoid conflict. But he recalled Theron's words, reason over impulse. He challenged the proposal, citing long-term risks. His team grumbled, but his boss nodded. For the first time, Elias felt in control. The Stoic circle became his anchor. He learned to journal with intention, to meditate daily, to question his impulses. Mara taught him to focus on what he could control, his thoughts, his actions, and let go of the rest. The city's algorithms still watched him, but they no longer owned him. One evening, Theron shared a story about Seneca, a Stoic philosopher who faced exile, yet found peace. Seneca mastered his subconscious, Theron said. He chose virtue over comfort, reason over fear. You can too. Elias felt a spark. Virtue. The word felt alien in Nexera, where success was measured in data points. But it stirred something in him, a longing for a life aligned with something deeper. Chapter 3. Navigating Difficult Decisions. Weeks passed, and Elias's confidence grew. He no longer flinched at the city's relentless ads or the buzz of his smartwatch. But a greater test loomed. DataSync unveiled a new project. The Nexus Protocol, an algorithm to predict and manipulate citizens' life choices, careers, relationships, even beliefs. Elias was assigned to lead it. The project was a promotion, a chance to secure his place in Nexera's elite. But it felt wrong, a violation of the freedom he was beginning to taste. He sat in his apartment, notebook open, and wrote, "If I accept, I betray myself. If I refuse, I lose everything. What is the virtuous path?" He returned to the Stoic circle, seeking clarity. Mara listened as he described the Nexus Protocol. "This is your moment," she said, "a decision that defines you." Stoicism doesn't promise ease. It promises strength. Theron offered a framework. First, define the problem clearly, he said. What is at stake? Then, list your options. Evaluate them not by gain or loss, but by reason and virtue. Choose the path that aligns with your core. Elias spent days dissecting the problem. The Nexus Protocol would erode autonomy, turning citizens into puppets of code. His options were stark. Lead the project and secure his future, or refuse and face exile from Nexera's elite. He meditated, visualizing each outcome. Leading the project meant wealth, but a hollow soul. Refusing meant uncertainty, but integrity. He chose to refuse. At the next board meeting, he stood before DataSync's executives, his voice steady. The Nexus Protocol crosses a line, he said. It's not progress. It's control. The room fell silent. His boss, a man of sharp suits and sharper ambition, stared. You're making a mistake, Kane. Elias felt the weight of his choice, but he held firm. I'm making the only choice I can live with. The fallout was swift. He was demoted, his access to high-level projects revoked. Colleagues avoided him, their eyes darting to their screens. But Elias felt lighter. For the first time, his subconscious and conscious minds aligned. He'd chosen virtue over impulse. Chapter 4. Living a Fulfilling Life. Exile from DataSync's inner circle forced Elias to confront his life. He moved to a smaller apartment in the old district closer to the Stoic circle. The city's algorithms flagged him as a low-priority citizen, his ads now generic, his data trail fading. Yet he felt free. He deepened his Stoic practice. Each morning, he meditated, focusing on the present moment. He journaled not just his fears, but his aspirations. He practiced negative visualization before every major decision, preparing for setbacks while embracing what he could control. The city's chaos no longer rattled him. Mara became his mentor, guiding him through Stoic texts. Life will always test you, she said, but you can choose your response. That's your power. Elias began to live with intention. He took a job teaching data ethics at a community center, a role that paid little but felt right. He reconnected with old friends, including Lena, the woman he'd pushed away. He apologized, not expecting forgiveness, but she listened. They started over, slowly, building something real. One evening, Theron gathered the Stoic circle for a rare announcement. Nexus's algorithms are tightening, he said. The Nexus Protocol is moving forward, with or without Elias. We must resist, not with force, but with wisdom. Elias felt a surge of purpose. He'd already defied DataSync once. Now, he saw a larger fight to help others unlock their subconscious, to choose reason over control. He began hosting workshops at the community center, teaching Stoic principles alongside data literacy. His classes grew, drawing citizens tired of the city's grip. He faced challenges, skeptical students, corporate spies, even threats from DataSync. But he leaned on stoicism, building mental fortitude. He visualized failure, prepared for it, and moved forward. The present moment became his anchor, each choice a step toward inner peace. Chapter 5. Mastering Your Subconscious. A year after finding the Stoic circle, Elias stood before a packed room at the community center. His workshops had spread, sparking a quiet rebellion in Nexera. Citizens were questioning the algorithms, reclaiming their choices. The Nexus Protocol faltered, its funding cut as public trust waned. Elias shared his story, his voice steady, commanding. Your subconscious is a force, he said. It could trap you or free you. Stoicism is the key. Write your thoughts. Meditate. Visualize the worst and prepare. Choose virtue always. He offered practical steps. Start a journal tonight. Meditate for 5 minutes daily. Question one impulsive choice each day. He urged the crowd to share their experiences, to build a community of clear thinkers. You don't need algorithms to live well, he said. You need reason. After the talk, a young woman approached, her eyes bright. I started journaling because of you, she said. I quit my job last week. It was scary, but I'm free. Elias smiled, a warmth spreading through him. He'd found fulfillment not in wealth or status, but in this, helping others unlock their minds. The Stoic circle had grown, its members spreading Theron's teachings. Mara handed him a new notebook, its pages blank. Keep writing, she said. Your journey isn't over. That night, Elias sat by his window. The city's glowed dimmer now, less oppressive. He opened the notebook and wrote, I am enough. My choices are mine. I live for virtue, not for Nexera. He closed the book at peace. The subconscious, once a silent saboteur, was now his ally. And in that clarity, he knew he'd live fully, no matter what came next. Epilogue, a call to action. Elias's story spread beyond Nexera, carried by those he'd taught. The Stoic Circle published a guide, The Subconscious Key, a slim volume of Stoic practices for mastering the mind. It circulated in secret, passed hand to hand, a quiet defiance of the city's algorithms. To those who read it, the message was clear. Your subconscious is yours to shape. Start small, write, meditate, question. Embrace the present. Prepare for the worst. Choose virtue. Share what you learn and help others find their way. The guide ended with a challenge. Unlock your mind. Live wisely. Begin today.